Okay, so you want to start a luxury brand. You want to be like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, brands like that, right? Okay, well, first, let's slow down. Even if you start a luxury brand today, you are not going to become like them right out the gate. Those houses have been around for decades. It took them a long time to get to where they are now. So if you start, it's going to take a little while to get there. Maybe not as long, but it's going to take you a while. But here's the thing. Creating a luxury brand structure is actually really easy. And I'm going to tell you how to do that next here on Making the Brand. What's up, everybody? Rob Norman here from Planet Brooklyn Academy, and this is Making the Brand, the series where I give you a little insight and knowledge on how to start a clothing brand, and if you already have one, how to make it better. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything I drop when it drops. So why is building a luxury line so simple, as I said at the intro? Well, it's all about the structure. It really boils down to that. And what do I mean by structure? So all brands are based on a certain kind of formula or structure. If you take away their product and you just wrote down their names on a piece of paper and you looked at how they're structured, you'll see there's a vast difference between luxury brands and all other brands. Case in point, let's take an example of Nike. Nike is built kind of on a rectangular platform, I like to call. All their price points are pretty much in the same range, although you do have things that go a little bit higher and some things that go lower. The majority of their product reaches within this box, which is rectangular. Everything's kind of across the board, the same. Now, look at a luxury brand like Gucci. Gucci is built on a pyramid, and this is what makes them so different. Their structure is based on different levels of pricing, which again, if you look at anything outside of a luxury brand, all of them are built on basically a rectangular structure. All pricing is pretty much the same. That's what they sell it at. Whereas think about all the luxury brands you can think of, they all are based on this pyramid structure. So let me explain to you what a pyramid structure is and why this works in a luxury brand setup. And if you're creating a luxury brand, why you need to do this if you want to be successful in the luxury game. So the luxury pyramid structure, how it works is that you have at the very top of the pyramid, the 1%. This is product that only the elite people can afford or purchase. It's the stuff that you never see in stores. It's the stuff that you never see in magazines. A lot of times this is the stuff that houses like Gucci will make especially for people who are rich, the elite. They can get special things made. These are the items that you see during red carpet, openings. People who wear these, famous people who wear these gowns and outfits. They get this from the top of the pyramid of Gucci or whoever. Next, it comes the middle part, which is the middle of the pyramid. And this is the stuff that is pretty expensive, but is a little more, available to people of any, price range, but people who can afford it, really have the money. Most of the time, the people in this middle range are your famous people, your athletes, your actors and stuff like that can afford this. These are the people that buy the Gucci bags and the Gucci coats and stuff like that. Within this tier, you also have the person who wants to look like the people that they see in the magazines. So they will go out and buy, the Gucci bag, even though they may not be able to afford, the Gucci coat and all that stuff. The Gucci bag, and other Gucci items, the Gucci shoes, they can save up to get that. So they can feel like they're one of those people that they follow on social media or one of the famous stars that they like. Then there's the bottom of the pyramid. And this is the most important part of a luxury pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid is where you make all the money at. How is that possible? Well, that's because at the bottom of the pyramid, you have everything that most people can't afford in the middle or upper tier, but they still want to feel like they're part of that social crowd. They want to feel like they can fit in with those people that they see on social media, those people that they look up to as stars and athletes. They want to feel that they are on par with them. So everything that is on the lower tier is more affordable. This is stuff that you get for $50 and maybe as high as going up to like $200. These are the things that people can easily buy. It's always stuff like the Gucci bucket hat, the Gucci sneakers, Gucci belt, these Gucci keychains, these little things, Gucci glasses. All this stuff is affordable stuff. It may be a high price where it comes in at like $100, $200, but that's way cheaper than spending $1,000, $1,500 for a bag. So people on the lower level want to look like the people in the mid-tier, and the people in the mid-tier want to reach the top of the pyramid. So there's this cycle of everybody trying to be like the other person. And this is how luxury brands stay rich, because everyone at the bottom wants to be like everybody in the middle, and everybody in the middle is just trying to outdo each other and somehow get to that top pyramid part. This, again, when you look at Nike, isn't structured that way. A Nike situation is not structured. It's structured, as I said, a rectangle. Everything is across the board. Everything is even keel. All the prices are pretty much the same. So you don't have this elitism within a Nike structure. The Gap, for example, you can look at the Gap. Same thing. There are prices of things that are a little bit higher, but for the most part, anyone can go in there and buy something out of the Gap. You're not, being kept away from things because you can't afford it. It may be something that may be a little bit expensive, and you know what? You may have to save up a check or two to get to it, but it's within reach, as opposed to going to Gucci, where there are things that you have to save up a few checks. And if you do, this is something that you're going to hold in value for a long time because you know what it means. You know the status it holds in modern society. So when building a luxury brand, you have to build it within a pyramid structure. Now, you do not have to launch all three structures coming into the game if you're just starting your line. Like I said at the beginning, if you're just trying to start a luxury line, you do not need to build all three parts of this pyramid. Only thing you need to start with, if you have the money, is the middle tier. The middle tier is the most important one to start with if you're just starting in luxury. Reason being is you can't start with the lower tier. Once you launch a brand and you're trying to be luxury, if you start with a lower tier, your consumers will see you at that price point. It's very hard to go from low to a higher price point. It can be done, but the problem is you're fighting an uphill battle. You're much better off starting in the middle, where you're talking about a price point of something where it could be anywhere from $200 to, and up, and maybe up as high as $500. It's affordable enough for someone who doesn't know your brand to say, I'll take a buy on this. I'll take a risk. I'll buy this. I'll spend $200 on this. And as people feel comfortable with your brand, they'll buy more of it. At that point, that is when you can go higher in your structure, and a new price point can be created to go to the top of your pyramid. Once you have that, you can also build down and do your lower tier, which again, of course, it's going to be a lot cheaper, but you have to keep in mind, anything in a lower tier still has to be above a certain average. You can't just be selling stuff at like $25. You got to make a minimum of saying like maybe $50 is your cutoff, maybe $75. The cheapest thing in there that you can get is going to be maybe a t-shirt at $75. Now, you will have little things like keychains and stuff like that, because you cannot charge $75 for a keychain unless it's solid gold or something. But we understand those little things are going to be a little bit cheaper. Same like I said with Nike. Nike has a set price point, but there are things that go above and below it. But at the core, there is a core price setting. Same with your luxury brand. Even though you may do a lower tier, your lower tier may be $75 to $175. And after $175, that's when you start going into your mid tier. So anything in that lower tier, you want them to know that yes, they can afford it, but at the same time, they want to feel like they're a part of the people affording your mid-tier products. And then of course, once you do that, you go higher with better design garments, better fabrics. You can charge a higher price. That's when you go to your upper pyramid. And in that point, you now have that structure, and now you're building this pyramid where basically the money is cycling around. You are now in a luxury brand structure. If you want to see one that actually is in the process of being created, look at Fairguard. Fairguard right now is in the process of becoming a luxury brand, as if it isn't already a luxury brand if you haven't realized that. But Jerry was very smart in what he did. What Jerry did was he came out with Fairguard, and people bought it and everybody loved Fairguard. Then what he did was he created essentials. Now, most of you probably weren't even paying attention to what he was doing. When he created his essentials, what he did was he created a lower tier. Again, he started with Fairguard with a middle tier. And from there, he created a lower tier. He created essentials. So everybody who's buying Fairguard knows that you got to be making a certain amount of money to buy Fairguard stuff. Fairguard stuff is not cheap. He has coats and jackets on there going as high as $3,000, $4,000. So he had to create a lower tier, which was essentials. because at least with essentials, you know you're still getting that Fear of God quality, and you can feel like you're still part of that inner circle of Fear of God, but you just have essentials. Now, go online and look at his price points for essentials. Normally, the cheapest thing on there is normally around $50, and then it'll go up to like $175. Most of it doesn't break $200 in essentials. But then look at Fear of God. Fear of God then suddenly goes into, $600 for sneakers, $1,200 for stuff. It goes higher. Now, you may be thinking, but Rob, you said it's a pyramid structure. How is this a pyramid? Because he has a lower tier, and if the Fear of God line is actually more expensive, what happened to the middle? That's where his deal with Adidas comes in. So remember, he created Fear of God Athletics, which is with Adidas. Look at the price point of what he's charging for those garments. That falls right in the middle. It's a little bit higher than essentials, but it's cheaper than the Fear of God stuff. He just created a pyramid. He just created a luxury brand structure. So now everybody is buying Fear of God Athletics because they want those items, and it's a little more expensive than essentials because essentials, a lot of people have it because again, it's essentials, it's basics, it's easy. But at the same time, people don't want to wear everything everybody else is wearing. So they're going to go to athletics, which is the next tier. After that, you go to Fear of God's line. There goes your pyramid. That is the structure. And Jerry did it perfectly. And most people, again, did not even realize what he was doing because he started with Fear of God, then dropped essentials, and people didn't realize the price points difference and that he was building a pyramid with this. So again, it's not a con or anything like that. It's just the structure of how most luxury brands are built. They're built on a pyramid as opposed to everybody else who's just built into these block kind of structures. So hopefully that helped you guys to figure out how to build a luxury brand. If you do this, you guys should be really well off with starting your brand. Again, you're not just limited to doing this structure. You also have to do good marketing, put out good, photography, and build good product. You still have to do all that as well. But if you build this structure this way, you should be pretty successful. All right, that's it for today. I hope this helped you all. As always, please, if you have any comments or anything, please leave them down below. And always remember, if you haven't picked up my book, Making the Brand, so you can learn how to build a company, a clothing brand, learn everything that I'm teaching you guys here in this video, you can get the book. I'll leave it down in the description below for you guys to get that link and pick up that book as well. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.